It's time for
DodgerHeads.
high fly ball into right field. Dodgers have won it all in 2020. Shohei Ohtani, 50-50 club. Strikes him out. There's a drive. Shohei Ohtani. Freeman hits the ball. She is gone. Birthday party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome into DodgerHeads presented by DodgerBlue.com. My name is Scott Geirman. I'm here with my good buddy Blake Williams. The Dodgers take Game 1, the National League Division Series, over the Philadelphia Phillies at Citizens Bank Park in this absolute battle of the two Titans teams, two presumed World Series favorites in the National League. The Dodgers scrape by. The Dodgers battle their way back. The Dodgers steal this one in Citizens Bank Park. Shohei Ohtani goes on the mound, dominates. Dodgers avoid an absolute collapse. They roar back, 5 unanswered runs. Blake, how we doing, man? What an incredible game.
Doing pretty good. That was some peak postseason baseball right there, and kind of the opposite of what we saw in the regular season, where the Dodgers were jumping ahead and then the bullpen blew it for the Dodgers. Now we kind of got the reverse of that, so nice to see.
Teoscar Hernández goes from zero to absolute hero with that massive swing there. But chat, welcome in everybody. We're going to let everybody join in on this. Just a game that gets your heart racing, a game that takes you on the absolute roller coaster that is postseason baseball, filled with absolutely everything you want and everything you hate about postseason baseball. And when it sucks to be a fan is when your team's not doing anything. And then when you have a little bit of a heartbeat, Blake, when you have this Los Angeles Dodgers team, this offense with perennial postseason performers, we're going to talk about everything. We've got a terrific show here, but the Philadelphia Phillies gave him a crack. Rob Thompson played chicken with the Dodgers, and the Dodgers ultimately, broke the door down. And then the bullpen came in. Tyler Glasnow, great performance there. But Blake, initial thoughts there. Roki Sasaki, final out, gets his first major league save in a postseason ball game. Overall, from this game, Blake, walk me through what you got.
I think my first takeaway was the Dodgers really benefited from some poor managing from Rob Thompson, and this is for all the Dave Roberts haters who are always complaining about him making mistakes. Like, this game was kind of on Rob Thompson. Once the Dodgers had that rally going after Tommy Edman singled, Christopher Sanchez should have been out of the game. He left him in, and then Kike made him pay with that double there. My other thought here is Kike is continuing to prove me wrong as someone who doesn't believe in clutch and players magically getting better. Kike just keeps doing it. I have no explanation, and so I'm just going to take the L here. I'm saying it.
I love it.
On the live stream, I tweeted it out. Yeah, I don't know what to make of it. Kike is something else in October.
He's unreal.
Yeah, the Dodgers took advantage of the mistakes the Phillies made, and the Phillies weren't able to capitalize further after the Dodgers made their mistakes in that first inning.
Yeah, and make no mistake about it. Christopher Sanchez, we talked, yesterday morning, Blake, about kind of preparing for this series here. I said some stuff about how I liked Alex Call in the lineup. He took care of business, was added there. Max Muncy didn't get the start. Those things I recognized. And I kind of highlighted that in big spots. Christopher Sanchez to right-handed hitters gets a little peculiar with his pitch calling. He likes to get a little bit cute and throw a slider. Kike Hernandez, gets something down and in, bangs it down the left field line, puts the Dodgers right back in the game. But I love what you said. That was one of those moments where, Rob Thompson has to understand what just happened. Christopher Sanchez had been humming up to that point. He overall had 18 whiffs. He always gets his swing and miss. But toward the back half of his start, you're going in there where he gets another inning of damage or another inning of traffic. And he goes out there, Kike Hernandez, on a 1-0 pitch and throws a slider down and in, leaves it in the zone. Kike barrels it 109 down the left field line, plates to Tommy Edman, great send. Dodgers back in the game 3-2. So just like you said, Blake, it felt like there were obvious moments where Rob Thompson could have just pulled it and got him out of there, gone to the bullpen, gave the Dodgers a different look. And Kike Hernandez once again comes away with it. There's no explanation about it. He is a postseason performer, one of the best of our lifetimes. And it's just Kike Hernandez comes through again, man.
Yeah, I don't think I'll ever fully understand it. He's bad every regular season, and then he becomes a superstar in the playoffs. Makes zero sense to me, but I'll keep taking it. if he's going to keep producing out there. So yeah, great on him.
Yeah, overall, we're going to go through each part of this ball game here. Welcome into the 2000 in early on. Just a terrific game one. This went from you have a pit in your stomach to how the Dodgers offense is looking against Christopher Sanchez, who throughout the regular season, the Dodgers did tag him twice, but in both those starts, mainly his most recent one, he found a way to go deep into a ball game. What happened with the Dodgers is they continued to work counts, work ABs, and when the opportunity arose, they do exactly what we've seen them do in years past. Just like the New York Yankees did in the World Series, you give the Dodgers an opportunity, there's way too many veteran bats in here to just squander it. And they score 5 unanswered on the Philadelphia Phillies in Citizens Bank Park after they've had a week of rest, Blake. Just remarkable stuff. This is why we watch postseason baseball. This is why a lot of Dodger fans, including myself where I'm at, continue to believe that no matter what happens, this Dodgers offense has that ingrained in their DNA, that they've seen it before, they've done it before. And Teoscar Hernandez goes from an absolute clown moment early in the game with defensive stuff. We'll get into it, and has the swing of the game. But everybody, thank you so much for these early super chats. I'm going to start going through some of these here. That's the best way to get a hold of us. If you're hyped about the game, type in a super chat, type in your message, whatever it is. I'm going to put you up on the screen. Blake and I are going to talk about your stuff here. We're going to wait for some quotes to come out post game, and then we're going to get into absolutely everything. There is so much to love, so much to break down about Shohei Ohtani, the bullpen, Tyler Glasnow, everything. We're going to start right here. Donation. He says, 2 things. I don't know what to do with Teo. I want to hate his effort, but at the same time, he's our hero. Also, when the Dodgers win the series, as Matt kicked off the show, love you guys. Matt loves to bring balance. He loves to bring balance. And he said today that he kind of said Dodgers, he's had something about just going with the Dodgers. So he kind of pulled back on his thing. He did want to bring balance to another show, but he ultimately, I believe he went Dodgers at the end of the day. Aaron, shout out to Roki. We all thought it was a lost season, and here he is, our being our closer. Dog. He's a dog. Just to touch on him, Blake, I know we have a group chat with some of our Dodgers people. You said you kind of have a feeling about Roki Sasaki. I need you to walk me through that for everybody.
Yeah, just with how he's looked recently. Like, I'm coming from someone who I've been really critical of Roki all year. At the beginning of the year, through spring training, like, he did not look like a major league pitcher. I didn't have much confidence he would completely flip around his season like he has, but with his fastball back at 100 and that splitter he has, he's actually finding the strike zone and throwing strikes. He looks kind of unhittable right now, and the moment just didn't look too big for him. I think early in the season, like if he allowed a double like he did on that to Max Kepler there, he would have fallen apart early in the season, and that would have been something like, oh, here we go again. But it didn't phase him this time. He just went out there, kept doing his thing, throwing strikes again, filling up the zone, and he got 2 quick outs right after that. Like, that was everything I wanted to see from Roki. He didn't allow a run. He looked great. He had a little test there with the runner getting in scoring position. Yeah. Huge moment there in Philadelphia at a very hostile environment, and he just succeeded. And that's so confidence inspiring for him right there, and gives me a ton of confidence moving forward. Like, I am safely saying I think Roki should be the closer for the rest of this postseason.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, it gives, we talked, in the weeks leading up to the postseason, how if Dave Roberts had someone at the back end, he was desperately searching for just anyone to be at the back end. It's not Tanner Scott, won't be, will not happen, everybody. Get that out of your mind. But with Roki Sasaki, he comes in, revamps stuff. If you haven't checked that out, Jeff Spiegel, our guy Jeff on here, he had an interview with Rob Hill, who worked with Roki Sasaki in Arizona. They figured some things out and unlocked all of the velocity that Roki has in him. And there was a lot of talk about Roki's fastball, being an uncompetitive pitch. But now that he's throwing 100 miles an hour, touching 101, it's as good as it gets. It's going to keep these guys off balance. And we saw in that at-bat to JT Realmuto, who Sasaki got looking on a splitter up in the zone. And he kind of looked like, what the hell was that? Because it's stuff they haven't seen. They have no tape on this guy. They haven't stood in the box against him, and he's downright filthy. So Dave Roberts has someone he feels comfortable out there. And Blake, I love what you said. He got himself some traffic on the road. Leadoff runner there, 1 swing ties the game, and he was able to figure it out. He was able to get himself out of his own stuff. So that's kind of, I co-sign that wholeheartedly with you, and I think the chat 100% agrees. Anything else to add on Roki here?
Yeah, I mean, just tons of credit to him for figuring out his mechanics and the issues he had, because generally that's something that takes longer than being able to figure out in a month or two like he did. Because even right when he got back to his rehab, he wasn't looking good. Like his first few rehab starts were pretty brutal, and then something just clicked for him, whatever it was, and it has just turned around since then. Like we've talked about his fastball being flat a lot, and that's a huge problem when he's sitting 95. But when he's touching 100 with that splitter he has, like there's not much hitters can do.
Yeah, and when you're going down and away, so he goes, Kepler doubles, Castellanos goes up here. We're going to recap all this in a little bit. I love the sequence that he had. He goes out there and just fills up the zone. I think every single person watching the Dodgers, fan of the Dodgers, when a reliever comes in, you say, my God, just pump the zone. Just pound it. Let your stuff eat. Go in there. Don't pitch afraid. And he does just that. Goes in there, Castellanos, 1 pitch out, and then 3 pitches, gets stopped to end the ball game. In game 1 in Philadelphia, it's the Dodgers. We're going to keep going through these super chats again. Everybody, thank you so much. If you're tuning in for the first time, if you're watching on Twitter, make your way over to YouTube there. Subscribe to the channel. Everybody, thank you so much. We're going to be here throughout the entirety of the postseason, Monday through Friday, weekends, everything, bringing you pregame, postgame, all of it. We're here for you guys. Gabriel says, and that's all she wrote. Game 1, Dodgers win, baby. 3 down, 10 to go. Go Dodgers. Greg, live by Teo, die by Teo. He is the X factor. Blake, we talked about Teoscar Hernandez yesterday, being a linchpin in the lineup, and kind of how what we've seen him do in the past. Defensively is a different thing. And I've had that calming presence when he's up there just because he's had so many moments. Last year in the regular season against the Yankees, throughout the entirety of the regular season, against the San Diego Padres, against the Mets, against the Yankees again in the World Series. With Teoscar Hernandez stepping in tonight at the plate, he gets that fastball up and away, and he just put a charge. He is the X factor, and we're going to stand by that right at the heart of the lineup.
Yeah, we talked about him. I think both of us picked him for the most important hitter in the lineup coming into this series. Like, the Phillies are starting 3 lefties in the first 3 games, so Teo is someone who had to produce. And I think we're going to have that full conversation about his defense and everything that went on with him. But yeah, he is important to the lineup from that sense. But for me, like, not going to share too much about it, but the defense needs to be talked about.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally understand. We'll get to that in a little bit here. Jay says, Philly playing not like us was wild. Look, hey, they got 3 quick. Second inning, 5 unanswered. Not a thing the rest of the game. They played scared. And the Dodgers, went out there and attacked. And that's how it goes. And that's why they're Los Angeles Dodgers. And they've done this before. Jonathan here, Dave Roberts, masterclass. Hi, Scott and Blake. What's up, Jonathan? Thank you. Yeah, this was a really well done, well-managed game from Dave Roberts. I loved everything about his move, the lineup card. I felt it was great. Max Muncy, being put in later in the game. He should have had a walk, but he swung at ball 4, ball 5. But Max Muncy going in there, had a tough defensive play, caused an error, some traffic. But I love the Alex Call thing. Kike Hernandez going in there was a no-brainer. Tyler Glasnow, the bullpen, he had a pulse of the game right now. And this is something, Blake, we expected to get better after the Cincinnati Red Series. Do you think Dave Roberts feels in a much better place after game 1 of the DS?
I think so. I think there's more options in the bullpen. He has some confidence in. My one gripe with Dave Roberts managing that game was leaving in Tyler Glasnow to face Schwarber and Harper. I know it worked out with Schwarber, but they're carrying 5 lefties in the bullpen.
Sure.
Why are you leaving in Glasnow, who's your game 4 starter, to face the righties there? I didn't love that. It worked out for one of them, and then Harper had the single, and I think there's the walk right after that, and then Vesia got them out of it. But had some issues with that, but overall didn't hurt them, so it's okay there. But outside of that, going to Roki, that was a big decision there. It worked out, as we just talked about. And yeah, he let Ohtani cook out there.
Let's hammer through some of our things because we got some segments. I want to get all the Blake Williams thoughts in our segments that we've got churned up here. Shout out to the 3100. Everybody, you're the best. We're going to make this fun for everybody tonight. If you're hyped up, toss into super chats, put stuff in the comment section. I keep my eyes on that all game. I'm just as hyped up as you are. I know Blake doesn't show it, but he's juiced. He loves winning game 1. He says it turns it big time in the Dodgers' favor. Just letting you know, he's enjoying himself.
Did I say that?
I know you didn't say it, but I can read it on your face here. Crass says, Teo giveth, Teo taketh way. Yeah, Roki is filthy, big W, no doubt. 300, great to see you in here tonight. I yelled Teo and yelled for Teo. Great come from behind win. Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like we could talk about Teo for just an hour on this show. And
I agree.
That would be totally fine, but there are other things to get to.
So let's do this real quick. Let's pause. Let me do this. Let's pause real fast. I want to go immediately into Shohei Ohtani. I immediately want to go right into his stuff. We're going to talk about this. Shohei Ohtani's first postseason start as a pitcher. Immediate thoughts, Blake. What did you love from Shohei Ohtani? And I don't even need to ask, what did you hate? What did you love about Shohei Ohtani tonight?
I mean, he went out there and he was Shohei Ohtani. I think he didn't get the help from the defense there early on in that second inning there, of course. Like, again, we're going to talk about, but he went out there and he kept the Dodgers in the game. Even after that, he limited that damage there, and he had his strikeout stuff working. Just everything was good. He didn't let the moment get to him, which that's something we expected from him. He's always stepped up in the big moments, and on the mound, he was great. The offense left a lot to be desired there. I think he had 4 strikeouts and a walk. So I think we're going to get more from him on the offensive side moving forward. But as the starting pitcher, he did everything the Dodgers need him to. They probably could have even pushed him into the 7th inning if they wanted, but wasn't a huge point to do that at that point in the game. So, yeah, I mean, he was out there and he did Shohei things.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to look, guys, I'm looking through Super Chats, ones that line up with that. But I want to talk about Shohei Ohtani going straight through his outing here. First inning, hand takes care of business here. But in the bottom of the second, walks the leadoff man. And this kind of, it's not that I felt Shohei Ohtani had an odd inning, but he did. Walks Alec Bohm, the leadoff man. Brandon Marsh singles to center field there. And it felt like at a couple different spots, he was leaving fastballs right in the heart of the plate. Just get me over stuff. He didn't have a feel for his curveball just in that inning. Overall, he was masterful. And then the play with Teoscar Hernandez happens. Figure a way out of it. 3 runs is what it is. We'll go straight through all that. At the end of the day, Shohei Ohtani finished with 23 swing and misses, Blake. I think that number for me is so eye-popping because it didn't just come on the 4-seam fastball. It didn't just go on the curveball, slider, splitter, and the sweeper. It was all of them. He had 8 whiffs on the 4-seam, 4 on the slider, 6 on the curveball, which was electric. Every single time he got into a count, I felt that Shohei Ohtani had to go back to the well with the curveball, and he did. He threw 16 of them. And I love the fact that he got 4 on the splitter, 1 on the sweeper, He didn't have a big handle on the sweeper today. But with the curveball, Blake, it felt that against Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, the 4-seamer, the curveball to Schwarber, and the splitter he had working to Bryce Harper against the top 3 of the order against the Philadelphia Phillies with Shohei Ohtani. How did you love Ohtani tacking all 3 of them?
I mean, it was, to me, like just the start, it was surprising that they were down 3-0 early and Shohei had held the top of the lineup in order in check for the entire game.
Yeah.
Like, that's something you don't expect from that. So if you're going to get that the rest of the series from the Dodger pitching staff, I think they're going to be in a really good spot here. But Shohei just went out, did his thing. Everything was working for him. I don't think he had the swing and miss early. I think a lot of it came later in the game, which was impressive because he started to really settle into a rhythm and figure things out. After that second inning, he went on to retire 10 straight batters before I think it was a single from someone. Like, he was just in complete control out there, and that was everything you wanted to see from him. We can talk about him like Teoscar. We can talk about Shohei for an entire show, and I don't think we're ever going to be able to say enough good things about him. He's a top 5 pitcher in baseball and the second best hitter in baseball. So, like, this is a true superstar that every fan should always remember watching his first postseason start on the mound and just remembering how good he was, because that's something you're going to be able to talk about in 30, 40 years and say, like, I remember watching Shohei Ohtani pitch the first postseason game of his career, and he went 6 innings and struck out 9 hitters. It was just incredible.
Final line, Iris, thank you for this. Yeah, we're the best Dodgers channel out here. Appreciate you. Dodger Blue, thank you so much. The most honest, independent Dodgers media group we've got out here. So thank everybody for tuning in. Shohei Ohtani's final line, 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 walk, 3 earned runs, which damage there could have been minimized. We'll get to that in a little bit. 9 punch outs, 80 pitches, 60 of those for strikes. Shohei Ohtani retired 15 of the final 17 batters he faced. And the Phillies' big 3 at the top, Trey Turner, Kyle Schwarber, and Bryce Harper, went 0 for 9 with 5 strikeouts. And that's why I was so peeved that those 3 runs came toward the middle and the bottom half of that Philadelphia Phillies lineup, because I believe the Dodgers have confidence they can take care of business against anyone out there on the Phillies. And if you go out and you hold the top 3 to 0 for 9 with 5 punch, Blake, that's a game that you should hold them to 2 or 1 or no runs, 2 or no runs. and the Dodgers are able to find a way. So Shohei Ohtani going out there and having his best stuff against the run producers in that lineup, the runner-up MVP in Kyle Schwarber. How surprised were you with his approach? Or I know you could say you're not surprised that he can take care of a dominant hitter, and good pitching will always beat good hitting. But were you surprised at all that Kyle Schwarber looked so off balance against Ohtani?
Not really. I think Ohtani's just that good. Like, he can make anyone look silly and off balance. And Schwarber's always been a guy who really sells out for the homer. And when you're trying to do that against elite stuff like Ohtani, sometimes they're going to look pretty foolish there. I think the Dodgers are really good at game planning and figuring out how they're going to attack specific hitters and trying to limit who's going to beat them. It's one of those things where, like, if someone at the bottom of the lineup beats you, like, fine, it's not ideal, but you just don't want to get beat by the top of the order, because those are the guys who are going to do the most damage if it happens. And the comparison here is, like, if Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, and Freddie Freeman go 0 for the entire game, the Dodgers aren't going to win that many games, and that's what happened to the Phillies here. They got some production from the bottom of their lineup and took advantage of a mistake there, but their top of the lineup didn't do anything. Shohei really limited them, and including the entire pitching staff limited them, and it cost the Phillies because they didn't get their best players to step up, and the Dodgers got their best players to step up.
Yeah, without a doubt. And the Dodgers were able to limit the damage there with those big three. It looked almost a mirror image for the Dodgers on their side if Teoscar Hernandez doesn't have that one big swing. Between Ohtani, Mookie Betts, and Teoscar Hernandez, they had 7 punch. Mookie went 0 for 5. No strikeouts, though. Put the ball in play. But it was very bleak, and I think we can finally talk about this, but let me go through these super chats. We got a lot of them to get through. Everybody, thank you so much for the support here to the 3,600. Thank you so much. Welcome in. Terrific game 1 victory in the National League Division Series. Dodgers win 5-3 in a thriller. I'll say that. It was an absolute thriller. I'm going to be thinking about this one for a while. It was one of those where Dave Roberts has a masterclass. The front office did its job with, putting the right guys in the right spots and believing Blake and Kike Hernandez. And I saw a super chat come in about Blake right now, and I'm going to put it up here. Phil, Blake admitting that playoff Kike is real. Such a great win. Glad to see Roki proving he can dominate. Thanks always to be a whole DodgerHeads crew for the great coverage. Jeff's interview with Rob is a must listen. If you haven't listened to that yet, Jeff had a great interview with Rob Hill. He got really in depth about how the Dodgers kind of really broke Roki Sasaki down and were able to put him into the spot, and he's closing out games in the playoffs in his rookie season. So all credit to the Los Angeles Dodgers, Roki Sasaki, for the incredible hard work here. Let's get through here. Brandon, show was great tonight, pitching 6 innings, 9 Ks, 3 hits. Yep. Seattle after the second, mostly on Teo, to be honest, made up for it, though. Shohei Ohtani 0 for 4 Ks. We're going to get to that in just a second, Brandon. Stick around. We're going to talk about Teoscar Hernandez, how he made up for that there. Let's see. We already go through this one. Shelly, let's go Dodgers. Great to see you, girl. Everybody, welcome in. Tim, same thing. Shout out to Hernandez Bros, postseason heroics, Kike and Teoscar here. Ivan, Snell, Yosh, hard not to see a sweep. Blake is the man. W. Blake, how do you feel about that? You're getting direct shout outs tonight. This is good stuff. Do you need to admit sometimes things are just what they are to get all the love? Is that what it is?
I mean, we're talking about Kike here?
Yeah.
I guess, because I see my Twitter notifications have been blowing up, and it's probably related to my Teoscar tweet, which I'm still mostly standing by, but
that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm still mad about it too. You know me, I'm the biggest Teoscar guy. I'm pissed. I'm angry about that. You can't dog that ball. We'll get to that. We can't tease this anymore, but I got to get through these. Everybody's great. Don't care 187. What's up, man? He says, I never want to see Tanner again. Roki for life. Let's go. Yeah, I think Dave Roberts has the utmost confidence in Roki. He's been public about that. And Roki's had a great progression here, which is something that couldn't have gone better, Blake, with end of the regular season, positive first outing. And he's had nothing but moments where you're like, yes, he's checking the boxes. And then in the DS, going right through the Philadelphia Phillies, runner on second base, doesn't blink, doesn't show any spots to him. JY, the team had better fix Scott during the offseason because Roki is coming back as a starter. He pretty much said so in his pregame interview. Yeah, we definitely think that. We think that's the case here. But for now, JY, we're going to enjoy Roki Sasaki, the closer, and hopefully he pushes the Dodgers deep into the postseason there, and he's got the ball hopefully at the final out when they're hoisting another title here. All right, Blake, it's time, buddy. We got to talk about it. Teoscar Hernandez. So I'll let you open it up. I'm going to pull up the play here. I'm going to go through each little bit, but I want you to give your initial feedback, initial breakdown, and why that was such an egregious dog dogging on defense by Teoscar Hernandez there in the second inning.
Yeah, that Teoscar's effort there was my biggest problem. I understand he's not a good fielder. I understand he's never going to be someone saving runs out on the field. My main issue is with the effort and the laziness on defense. I can live with just a poor defender. I don't think I can live with someone who's just not giving effort out there. That's my biggest issue. I said he should be benched after that. And of course he came back and made up for it, but I don't think that takes away from the lack of effort on defense. And that's something that really needs to be addressed. We've seen it a lot. We saw it a lot throughout the year where he wasn't really trying hard on defense. And Dave Roberts even called him out publicly on it. And after Dave Roberts called him out, he started turning it around. I think in September, he looked fine enough on defense. He didn't make any egregious plays like we saw in the playoffs so far. So for it to come back in October where it's a lack of effort thing, that's just unacceptable. I don't think you can deal with that. He's not always going to be able to make up for his defensive mistakes with a homer. You need better effort from that. So that's why I stand by, I don't think you can just forget about that play because he hit a homer. I know that's part of the Teoscar Hernandez experience, bad defense, and you're going to get the clutch offense, but you just have to show more effort than that. You can't be walking or jogging to balls in the outfield. It cost them at least 2 runs there. He probably could have kept it to just 1 run allowed if it wasn't for Teoscar's lazy effort there. It was just bad. I can't defend that at all.
Yeah, whether it's 1 run, 2 runs, I think that was just a very poor look. And it's on brand for what he's done and how he's kind of been at different times of this season. And it's been called out by players in the clubhouse. They've had conversations with him, and we've seen it directly. And for it to happen on the postseason stage, it's just something that can't be forgotten about. He redeemed himself on one end, but that's not something that can be a norm. You can't allow that to happen because every play matters, every inch matters. And the fact that JT Realmuto at this point of his career is able to leg a double, he's able to get in there, a triple, leg out a triple, put himself in scoring position where all it needs is a sac fly. And that's exactly what happened again. And that's where the 3rd run comes in there, sac fly from Harrison Bader. And we're talking about a 3-0 ball game. So the Dodgers were lucky that more damage didn't happen because Shohei Ohtani is so good and was able to figure a way out of that. But Teoscar Hernandez certainly cost his team right there and put everybody, his team, his starting pitcher, fans, and probably himself in a spot where he's like, oh shit, this is something that you can't allow to happen. You can't go out there and trot in there and expect Andy Pages to be right there to make a better throw, whatever he's thinking or not. If Pages has the better arm, you can't expect him to just be right there to cut it off. I don't know what he was thinking. It didn't look good. Whatever he was thinking, it was the wrong decision. Flat, point blank.
He told reporters after the game he didn't have a good angle to cut off the ball, which I would counter with the angle wasn't good because you were jogging or walking to the ball.
Put your glove out. Take a slide, knee it. Andy Pages, you're still coming across. He's going from center field to right center. Even if he wants to do that, his body is still moving away and he still has to swing his hips all the way around to make a throw to the infield. So it does not matter. You have to stop that. You have to stop that ball, whether it's put your glove down, slide, I don't care. Give a half-ass slide. Just get the ball, knock it down, keep it in front of you. You can't let it roll to the wall. That's just extra steps. And with big leaguers, they all do this stuff. You give them an inch, they're going to take a mile, and that's what happened. You can't crack the door open for them in the postseason here.
Or at least show the effort that you're trying to do something. The only thing you can't do there is what he did, and that's my biggest issue with it. You can accept a bad defender. You just can't accept the lack of effort on the field, and that's what it was. I don't think there's any excuse around it. It was a lazy play, and the only thing a player can actually control on the field is the effort they're giving. You can't control where your ball's going to go after you hit it or if it's going to get caught. There's baseball is such a game out of your control, but you can control your effort, and we just didn't see that from Teoscar, and that's where my issue comes with it from. I know Muncy makes a lot of errors, but he's out there every single day working on things. You can tell it's not a lack of effort thing. He's just not a good defender, and you can live with that. But it's just being lazy is unacceptable on the field.
It also didn't help to that point. He was having terrible at bats. He was completely fooled against Christopher Sanchez. And, hopefully the game plan against a guy like Christopher Sanchez is he's a 2-pitch mix against righties or lefties. You can kind of cut that plate and depend on sit on what you want. But they didn't do any of that. And Teoscar Hernandez in the 3-hole in the lineup where you have to find something. We talked about he's the linchpin, Blake, in the lineup. He is the top, like bridging that top to the bottom, essentially. I know he's in the 3 spot, the top to the other performers who can drive in runs, guys who make more contact. And he's out here swinging stuff out of the hand. It was uncompetitive, so there was a lot of frustration boiling there. But looking into the 7th inning, Andy Pages starts off with a single. Will Smith gets hit by a pitch, and that's when David Robertson comes out of the game. Rob Thompson goes to the bullpen here. Shohei Ohtani with runners on first and second, nobody out in a very anomaly game for him. Whether you can say anomaly or not, I haven't seen Shohei Ohtani get fooled this much in a game in quite some time. Nothing that sticks out to me like this, especially in these big spots. So Matt Strom gets Shohei Ohtani looking on a sinker down the middle. Mookie Betts pops out to third. Sometimes you got to pop out 2 outs. And
sometimes
Teoscar,
you have to.
Sometimes you have to. I'm doing the meme. But Mookie Betts pops out 0 for 5 day. We know that. Rough one for him. And then Teoscar out here, ball 1, cutter high, misses. And then he gets a 92-mile-an-hour fastball up and away. And he charges it. 103. Right center field, puts the Dodgers up 5-3, completes the comeback, 5 unanswered. Blake, I say all the time, like we talked and we know this is the thing. Big swings, we played a plus-minus game, but it's about the optics and how it looks to the rest of your team. And those defensive miscues will cost your team a lot. And then we'll put distrust into your manager, putting you in right field. But with Teoscar Hernandez and that big swing, it's something that we've seen him do a lot, man. We've seen him do it now this is the 2nd year. Does it amaze you at this point? Do you put him in that category where, because it's October, at some point you make a mistake, he's going to make you pay for it?
Seems like he's getting there. I mean, I'm still not going to totally praise him just because I think the game as a whole was very mixed there with everything we just talked about. But yeah, I mean, Teoscar, all last year, he stepped up and carried the offense in October. And he picked himself up tonight. He picked himself up in the Red Series there after his misplay on, I forget who hit it, but the little blooper in the outfield.
Drop the fly ball.
Yeah. So, it's good. I'm going to give him credit for coming through and not letting the play defeat him and take him out of it, because sometimes players can end up focusing on the defensive mistakes they made and then carrying it to the plate, or even carrying their offense into the field and letting that affect them. But Teoscar didn't let that happen. He stepped up, so credit there. My issue is I just don't think we can totally brush it off, because this Dodger team with the bullpen, how it's been, they need every single run they can get. So making up for things, I think we still have to count it as a negative, even though on the scoreboard it's a positive. But a 4-run
I get what you're
lead
saying.
A 4-run lead with this bullpen is so much different than a 2-run lead. So.
I totally understand what you're saying. I totally get where you're coming at, but I'm going to fall in the thing of, look, he was able to dig himself out again today. I know what you're talking about. He was able to salvage what would have been an absolute blunder and something that stuck out to us for a bit. Teoscar Hernandez's effort there allowed them to tack on a few more, but his big swing put them in a spot to win a ball game. And that's going to stand over it for me, but it's going forward. You can't rely on that, Teoscar. You can't have that type of effort defensively. You got to give something. Just like you said, Blake, you've got the one thing you can't control. I even teach, everybody teaches this to little kids. You can control your effort, attitude, and focus. You control your effort. You go out there, you stop that ball. Nobody thinks twice about it. That's just how it goes. You can't put the scope on you. You go, how's the offense going to come back and do this now? Not a misplay and a lack of effort in right field cost them a few tacked on runs, where when it was 3-2, Blake, prior to his home run, you're thinking that extra run is the difference. That extra run that should have never happened is the difference of the game. But today he was able to make up for it once again. How many times can he do it? We'll see. But I'm glad that he's still coming out staying in the green on that. Dr. V, Teo taketh away and Teo giveth. Yes, he does. He took it away, gave it right back to us. All right, here we go. He says 2 things. I don't know what to do with Teo. Did I do this again? All right, pull this down. Yeah, I got that one. All right. Cornez, super chatting from Citizens Park. Wow. Feels good to see Philly fans leave disappointed, being heckled at all night until Teoscar's home run. Let's go blue. Yeah, no doubt. Incredible game. Wish I could have seen that live. That would have been something for me. that would have been a moment you never forget. Like moments like for me in the postseason against the Nationals, against the Mets, things you just don't forget. Rod, feel like the bullpen problem has been solved. I don't know about that yet. Simply by not using the relievers that have compromised their bullpen all season of that group, and only Vesia was used. We can speak to this for a second because this is an interesting conversation. We'll touch on it. But remember when I was talking with, I think I was on there with Jeff and Matt, or I forgot who I was with, but it was that they've just got to bring in guys who haven't failed recently. They have to bring in that are outside of the think tank and the fail tank of they just went out into a terrible outing. They're going out there thinking they're going to fail. They're pitching scared. And it was that they were bringing in different arms who haven't been in that bullpen on a regular basis. Tyler Glasnow coming in from the bullpen, Blake, talk me through how that, what you were thinking about that entire effort from him.
I liked it. I thought he looked pretty good until he didn't there in that 8th inning. And after the game, Dave Roberts said he could have been the closer and pitched 3 innings if he didn't fall apart there in the 8th. So I think that would have been really aggressive by Dave Roberts. And I think it would have been very interesting on if it changed him going in game 4 or anything like that. But like they wanted this game 1 win. I think that was kind of the most important thing for them. Getting off to a good start in game 1 is important. And they were able to do that. So yeah, Glasnow went out there and he did his job. It wasn't pretty at the end, and he needed Vesia to help him complete it, but that sometimes happens in baseball. It's a new role for him that he hasn't done. So yeah, to get through that 7th inning there was huge. He got the first out, I think, in the 8th. I forget if he got the second or if Vesia got that one. I think he got the second also. But yeah, he went out there and he did his job. So impressive to see.
Yeah, it was really impressive. I was happy because we know that the main reason why for me he's kind of 4th on the totem pole in the Dodgers starters is just the walk per 9, and it was that the stuff is so good. If he's able to limit that and keep that percentage down, he's one of the best right-handed arms in all of baseball. For a long time, he was absolutely filthy on the mound this regular season, and which is why it's like if you can limit those walks, you can limit the damage that you impose on yourself. Tyler Glasnow going out there and getting Kyle Schwarber swinging, who didn't have the best command of his fastball. But against Kyle Schwarber, he goes first pitch fastball right down the middle of the plate, goes curveball, and kept him off balance. So it was just because he's so tall, he tunneled the fastball and the curveball so well, kept them off balance there, gets Bryce Harper out, 4-pitch outing, or 4-pitch at bat there on the curveball. And then he walks Alec Boehm, and that's when you go to Alex Vesia there. You've got big spot for Alex Vesia, goes up, 1-1 count, fastball outer half, fly ball center field, can of corn, inning over. So it was that high leverage spot for Alex Vesia, which was the opposite of what we saw in game 1 of the wild card round. Alex Vesia comes in with nothing but Red Bull and adrenaline. That was a good spot for Alex Vesia, right?
Yeah, I think so. Dave used him in the right spot. He didn't use him in a mop-up role. Like that's where Vesia's kind of struggled. He's someone who needs the adrenaline. He needs the big moments, and worked out well for them tonight.
Yeah, I just really enjoyed it. I think Dave Roberts pushed all the right buttons there, built trust in some guys he needed to. And overall on the night, uses 4 pitchers, Shohei Ohtani, 6, Tyler Glasnow, inning and 2/3. Alex Vesia goes just a third of an inning, gets 1 out there, and Roki Sasaki closes the door down. Here we go. Robert. Great to see you in here, man. He says, sweet sound is a quiet at home crowd. Yeah, the bank was rocking, and there's a lot to be made of Citizen Bank Park, and they're in home environment there. But after those 3 innings, Blake, they didn't do a thing. They did not do a thing. And it looked like there was a fair amount of rust with it. Do you think they're going through it? They're going through it over there. 5 unanswered at home. You don't do anything after that 2nd inning. Your big names don't do it. I think they're going through it a little bit over there.
Probably, especially after last year where they were kind of the favorites again, or at least one of the favorites in the league to win, and then they ended up losing in the NLDS, and then you come out, you get that nice lead in the 1st inning, then you don't take any more advantage of it, and you end up blowing the game. Like, that's a tough one for them to overcome, and their fans, like, takes a bit of a mental toll.
Real quick, I saw somebody ask about Benny Roort, Big Ben Rortvedt. Blake, as you know, you are the leader, the commander of the Ben Rortvedt fan club.
I think we're going with Squirtle Squad.
How did you feel, the manager of the Squirtle Squad? How did you feel about Ben Rortvedt getting absolutely smoked in the forearm?
Wasn't great, but he toughed it out and stayed in. And then Will Smith came in for the offense. So I don't think there's anything concerning with him right now, but I don't think we got any updates either on him.
Yeah, I don't think anything on that front. I don't think we have that in our lineup thing to talk about, but I'd like to talk about it. Chat, let me know real fast while Blake and I are going through this segment here. Put your player of the game in the chat. Who do you believe earns player of the game honors in this? Is it Shohei Ohtani for his 6 terrific innings in his postseason starting pitcher debut, 9 punch? Is it Teoscar Hernandez for failing and redeeming himself all at the big man Blastoise? Yes, for sure.
For Scott.
Yeah. Is it Teoscar Hernandez for both failing in the outfield and succeeding at the plate and pushing him into a spot once again? Or is it Kike Hernandez for giving the offense a heartbeat? You can take any of those 3, or is it Roki Sasaki? Is it the bullpen? You let me know. I'm going to keep looking through those. I'm going to see it even after the show. So if you're listening after the fact there on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, however you consume your podcast, view your podcasts, or wherever you're watching, it's on Twitter. Let us know there. We're going to check them all out, but let us know who you believe is your player of the game for tonight that pushed the Dodgers to this Game 1 victory. Blake, with Will Smith coming into this game here, the confidence level in him commanding behind the plate, being able to catch a full game. They said the belief was getting him through a half a game. Do you think tonight they accomplished enough where they can feel comfortable putting him in for a little bit more? Or do you think it's going to be the same type of thing? Dave Roberts feels it out where they could use the boost in offense there. And if they don't, if they're leading, no need to push that button?
Probably a day-by-day thing, but probably leaning toward the latter of those two things. No point in pushing it, especially with how the team has been playing overall. And if you do need that offensive boost, then you turn to it. But yeah, I don't think there's any reason to push it any further than you need to. They want to go deep in October, so you got to play for the future to a degree.
Yeah, you have to guide him to a good place with his health there and not overuse him. The hand that he's got, it's catch position. You're in every single play. So he's got to make sure he tempers that. He takes his time. There's a slow ramp up here, but it was the spot for him. He definitely looked overmatched there in his first AB, and in his final one there, same thing, but wears the ball and starts a rally. So, with where he's at, I was okay with how they used him. The offense definitely needed an infusion. Unfortunately, he didn't come through, but I felt it was a good spot for him. Am I surprised that they used him? No, because the wild card round, we didn't expect to see him, if anything, but a pinch hitter. But I was happy they were able to find a good spot for him. And I think, we're enjoying it just, with a happy W. David, thank you for the super chat here. He says, I've never heard of a fork ball. You know what a fork ball is, Blake?
Yeah, it's a difficult pitch to throw, which is why most people don't throw it, and it's pretty rare to see.
David, thank you so much for that one. Yeah, that's how it goes. Zenji, good to see you in here. Roki's velo was stuck in the high 90s in AAA. Who saw this coming? Definitely not us. Definitely not us. Also, Glasnow changed the narrative of his career this postseason. Go show. Thoughts on that with Tyler Glasnow? Him buying into coming out of the bullpen there. I said in the weeks leading up to it that I feel everybody on the pitching staff is in lockstep, that they're willing to do whatever it takes. And the starters have this responsibility, and they're going to wear it going forward. They're going to take on the bulk of that. Did you love what Tyler Glasnow did going out there? Not willingly, but going out there and performing, man.
Yeah, I think it's something where Glasnow saw last year. Like, they won the World Series without him contributing in the postseason. And this year he understands there's 3 starters ahead of him right now, and the bullpen needs some help. So if he can get in there to help out the bullpen and help the team win, that makes sense for him. He's still lined up for Game 4, so he's still probably going to get a start unless the Dodgers surprisingly sweep the series. But yeah, credit to him for being willing to do that. It's something he hasn't done before. It's a difficult thing to do. It's a completely new mindset, way of warming up, way of getting ready. We saw Emmett Sheehan struggled his time doing it. So for Glasnow to come in and be able to do that, it was impressive.
Yeah, no doubt. Rosemary, what's up, Rosemary? It's good to see you in here. Thanks for tuning into the morning shows and on the post games on weekends. Shout out to you. What a game, what a win. Cheers, boys. Roki Sasaki. Yeah, Look, not enough can be said about him. His mound presence out there with the stuff that he has, the high octane stuff that he's got in his right arm. It's something special that he's got working out there. And the fact that the league doesn't have much tape, they're taking as much stock in this as they can. I'm glad that his outing was short, sweet, and he took care of business. And the big boys didn't get a chance to look at him. So Rosemary, exactly. What a game, what a win. Roki Sasaki, just good things all around from tonight. I'm glad they gave Dodgers fans and themselves, a big boost by saying, we're the Dodgers, man. We can come back. We don't care with anything here. Jedi says, I love Rick Monday on the radio. Called the bell a library, probably to bank a library after Teoscar's home run. The fans lost after Roki closed the door. Yeah, that type of stuff, Blake. A late game 3-run homer, especially when you're up by 1 and then you're down by 2 in a hurry. That stuff is going to silence a crowd no matter what you do.
Yeah, fortunately, we've seen those kind of moments enough as Dodger fans, so we know how they're feeling. But yeah, that's one of the most deflating things in the world when you're leading for most of the game and then the opposing team comes in and hits a late homer that puts them ahead. Like, you just feel totally flat after that. Fans, players, everyone. It's tough to overcome.
Yeah. Gabby, I want to put this up here. He says, Doc managed okay, but pulling call and putting Muncy in was lame. For the spot that it was at, for where Dave Roberts, they needed the boost there, I was okay with it. I was totally all right with it. I said that Max Muncy was going to have a pinch hit spot later in the game. Max Muncy against a righty, you need to have, maximize roster spots. And Max Muncy against righties is able to provide the thump. I know he swung at ball 4, ball 5, and had a defensive thing himself there. But Max Muncy is a plus bat against a right-handed pitcher. Just first AB late in the game. Keep trusting him in that spot, Gabby. I promise you, it'll work out more times than it won't. I promise you. Nomo. I want to ask you about this, Blake. Says Nomo wants to know, will the day off kill the win momentum? Who benefits from skipping the day, Dodgers or the Phillies?
I don't believe in momentum. We've talked about this a ton. I mean, I think the Phillies probably benefit from it more just because you get that mental reset day and you can kind of just forget about it a little more instead of going right back out there and having to play again after blowing the game. But we also just saw the Dodgers take 2 days off and it didn't kill their momentum after the Reds series. So I'm not sure it's a momentum thing more than just a mental reset kind of thing and figuring things out. So probably helps the Phillies. But again, the Dodgers have the pitching advantage in game 2. They have the pitching advantage in game 3. They have the pitching advantage in game 4 and probably again in game 5 if it's necessary. So, I mean, yeah, they could win the series, and I don't think it's momentum based.
Yeah. Hey, look, you say it's not momentum based, but somebody said in chat, it's the Dodgers. I'm going to say, Blake, the adage is when something bad like that happens, you have a bad day at the plate, you want to get back to the yard as fast as you can. And having a day off to let that stew, and now you're down 1-0, you wanted them to get back to the ballpark as fast as you can if you're a Phillies fan. As a Phillies guy in the lineup, you want to get out there as quick as you can. Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, and Trey Turner want to go up to the plate as fast as they can so they can shake that. They don't want any time away because now that thing's got to linger. And now the Dodgers can reset their stuff. So the momentum is going to stick. It's just, you have a day off there. Now you're up. Being up 1-0 is the momentum. I don't think it's anything manufactured other than being up 1-0 in the series. But the Dodgers benefit from skipping a day because the Phillies have to sit on this. In a game, they were up 3-0 at home, with their ace on the mound and Christopher Sanchez, and they let that win get away from them. So that's how to look at it, 100%.
The Phillies had all their momentum until the Dodgers had all the momentum. So
I'm talking about after the game.
I know.
Buddy.
I'm just saying
that.
I'm just saying in general,
don't need to make this momentum thing. Give me a break.
Because we're talking about momentum here.
No, we're not. We're talking about tomorrow. We're talking about the day off.
The Yankees had all the momentum in game 5, and then they lost it. So
we're talking about 2 different things.
I'm just saying, momentum doesn't carry over from inning to inning. So why are we talking about it carrying over from game to game type thing?
There's an energy during a game. I'm talking about after a game, Blake. I'm saying when there's a day off now, players who just failed want to get back to the ballpark. That's what you hear every single time. Players always say, I want to get back to the yard as fast as I can to wash that away.
Yeah, but now the Phillies also have their bullpen reset after using all their high leverage guys today.
They're down 1-0. Their offense didn't do anything.
Know,
they need to get back there. I don't care about their bullpen.
I do, because it could affect the game later on. So if we're talking about who it benefits there, I think the Phillies can benefit from that. I think there is a real mental reset there, and you're getting everyone back instead of being down 1-0 in the series and having to go back to your high leverage bullpen guys or having some guys fatigued in whatever moments you need them for. Like now you're reset. I think that's more beneficial than being down 1-0 and going back to play the next day.
It benefits both. That's fine. It benefits both. Then
That's
Roki
fair.
has a
That's
day,
fair.
but I'm talking about that the Dodgers are now one up. So that's the momentum right there, and they're playing with a different type of energy. Yeah, and Dodger Blue. Thank you, Admin. Blake's yapping just the yap. Facts. Thank you. He didn't want to let that go. Phil, Oral Hershiser just said Ohtani's curveball is one of the best he's ever seen in the right-handed version of Kershaw's curveball. That is incredibly high praise. Speak to Shohei Ohtani's curveball and kind of how we've seen the maturity of that pitch, and it's become one of his absolute best offerings, Blake. It's stymied Kyle Schwarber there. What have you loved? And speak directly to this quote here, or this thought from Oral Hershiser about his curveball.
Yeah, I mean, he threw 16 of them, and he had 6 whiffs on it. Like, that's an elite rate. That's a 63%, and 4 cold strikes on it. So 63% cold strike plus whiff ratio.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for people who don't know the context, like 30% is considered an elite mark. So he's at 63% with that pitch. That's incredible. That's impressive. I didn't ever know Shohei is like a curveball guy. I thought he was more fastball splitter slider in Anaheim. So I'll have to check all that and see. I think it's a little newer, or he's relied on it more. But yeah, his curveball has been incredible with the Dodgers. It's been his best pitch for like at least the last few games. Yeah.
Yeah, it's creeped up in the last few games there, where it's just been at certain points. It's like when you got to make a pitch, curveball, got to make a pitch, curveball. Yamamoto, same thing. At different spots where it's just like curveball is dotted, curveball, he's feeling good with it. And with Shohei tonight, at certain spots, it was like he's feeling good with the curveball, landing that. Gets several swing and misses to lefties there, and I really enjoyed it. What are you smiling at?
Comment.
Yeah. Scott is like when your dad says, yeah, of course, to you when you're little, and Blake is like when your mom told you no. Yeah. Facts. 100%.
I also said earlier we were a good cop, bad cop type thing.
100%. That's why we're buddies, man. But yeah, I've got that in me. I got a kiddo, so that's the dad in me. Shut up, Blake. You're right, but enough. Not on this matter, though. Rosemary, relax. Don't hype Blake up. All right, here we go. BC, I like this. So he says, in the history of 5-game NLDS, the game 1 winner has won 71.6% of the time. I'm going to go with, I haven't looked that up myself, but BC, because you're a loyal listener, you've been with us for years, I'm going to go with that's facts.
I'm pretty sure it's truth. I'm pretty sure that number is correct, or like right around correct. So yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, look, I mean, that's as good as it gets. That's why game 1 is so important. You go out there, flex your muscles, put your best stuff out there, and then you put the Phillies back on their heels, and they've got to answer back at home. You split at home. That's always the goal, Blake, right? You split for the Dodgers, splitting on the road is the scenario that you want, and no better way to do it than winning game 1.
Yeah, I think both of us predicted win game 1, lose game 2, win both at home to take the series.
Home.
That's kind of the goal. You don't want to take it back to Citizens Bank Park for game 5. It's just not the ideal situation. So if you split on the road, like they've already set themselves up to do that or better. So that's a great thing for them.
Admin here, he says 71.6%, almost like winning game 1 gives you momentum, gives you a better chance to win.
But also coming to this year, 18 of the 20 wildcard games didn't go to a game 3 or a series. And then this year we saw 3 of the 4. So the numbers don't always mean everything. There's for the anti-nerd stuff for Matt here.
All right, nerd. Isaiah, he says, hey, Roberts, quote, hey, Roberts, what will happen when you use your struggling bullpen? Dave responds, what bullpen? I mean, Isaiah, look, he turned right to Tyler Glasnow and said, here's the ball. That's what he did. And it was really cool to see. And I've spoke quite a bit this year. And real fast, shout out to the 4,200 listening across, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, however you're consuming this. Thank you so much for tuning in. Dave Roberts having a pulse of his starting staff and that being a real special thing. Last year it was with the relievers. This year it's with the starting pitchers and having a working rapport with them all year long and putting a lot of confidence in them and responsibility on them to go deep into games. Shohei Ohtani has some damage, has some runs across, and finds a way to go out there and give them 6. Don't let this game get away from you at all. Go out there and just pound. It definitely a lot is to the quality of the pitcher that he has out there, Blake. So I think that makes his job a little bit easier and just the tier that they all can go out there and do it. And it's just that Tyler Glasnow did get a start in the wild card. Tyler Glasnow might not get a start in this series at all, depending how things go. And the fact that he's willing in game one to go out there, register a hold, go out there going inning in 2/3, 2-punch, invest here, cleaning up a job. And I really enjoyed that. So for me, that's just been a really cool thing for me to watch. David says we need more errors from Teo. When he messes up, he hits a home run or two. Thoughts on this, Blake? Would that made your head explode at all? What would that do to you?
I'm good on the more errors one. I think you can also be a positive player by not allowing runs on defense. And yeah, we'll go with that.
Thoughts on this? MVP of the game, Dave Roberts?
He managed very well, but I think Kike and Teo and Shohei have to be considered the MVPs, and even Roki can be in that mix there.
Rosemary wants to know, is the next, she's putting this a couple times here, is the next piggyback with Kershaw, or will he only get an inning?
Probably an inning, but I mean, how Dave's using the bullpen, it wouldn't totally surprise me if he tries to get 2 or 3 out of him.
Anything's
Also,
in play, right?
I don't think Kershaw's someone you bring in after Snell either, just because if you're taking out the lefty, you're probably going to go to a righty, and then they have so many other lefties in their bullpen. Like, you'd probably go to Bonda to face Schwarber and Harper instead of Kershaw. But yeah, that's just trying to think through logically about how Dave might deploy him. But yeah, it could very well be like a 3-inning save or something.
All right, this might be better for the question segment, but because I see it now and I don't want to start, I'll put it up. B.L. Boyd says, Scott Blake, are y'all as scared as I am that Roberts is going to put Kershaw into a high leverage situation? I have a terrible feeling he will try basically to like legacy ball it and try to shoehorn him into a game.
I hope he only saves that for like trying to close out the series or something if they have a 4-run lead. Or I hope not.
I don't think he'll do that. I think I think he's learned from that. I think 2019 is way in the past. He's not going to do this. You're not going to see Rendon, Soto. You're not going to see that. And he's just going to be like, all right, big 22, go get him. Give him another moment. I don't think that's going to happen.
Sasaki is clearly their highest leverage guy right now. I think Trinan has shown a lot of life recently, and he's looked good. So he's someone you could probably rely on. Probably still going to go back to Emmett Sheehan in some spots. Messias himself. I think Bonda will probably see some high leverage for his lefties. So you don't have to use Kershaw on high leverage. So hopefully he knows that.
Yeah, it'll be all situational. I like the fact that Kershaw has just got that ingrained in his DNA, just run prevention there and find a way to do it. It's just going to all be about the spot. I don't think he's just going to try to shoehorn it. So to that question, B.O. Boyd, I don't think he's going to try to shoehorn it in there. Let's see. Peyton. Teo's home run silencing the Phillies crowd made me so happy. Me too. It was unbelievable. Yeah, that ball just kept going. Isaiah, do you think Glasnow was putting more fire on his fastball, knowing he only has 2 to 3 innings all season? His fastballs were around 96. I hadn't had a chance to take a look at his fastball velocity, but I think it was up a little bit.
Over the year, he averaged 95.7, and in this game, he was at 97.3. So that's an increase of 1.6 mile per hour on average.
There you go.
And he topped out at 98.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was good stuff. I loved it. He didn't overthrow too much because he has a tendency to do that. He didn't overthrow too much. There were a couple things where he pulled him, but overall he stayed within the zone. He did his job, and his stuff is so good. Like a lot of times, a lot of these guys on staff, you just got to put it in the zone. That's why when you just hand away free bases, you hand away free balls, you put stuff in uncompetitive spots. It's like you're just wasting your talent. You're wasting your spot up there because all these guys can be so good. It's just they're up there to throw a lot of uncompetitive pitches sometimes, and that's where the self-induced stuff happens. Yeah,
we've talked about all year how like the issues in the bullpen aren't about talent, and we saw them walking just way too many batters, pitching
execution
out of the zone. Not like everyone in the bullpen has the stuff to get guys out when they're pitching in the zone. And they just weren't doing that for a very long stretch, and it was costing them. And that's part of the reason Edgardo Enriquez is off the roster. They put him in with an 8-run lead, and he couldn't throw strikes. So, like, they just need guys in their bullpen right now to throw strikes, and they're going to be effective.
Yeah, so exactly that. I totally agree with you here. 19 more says, hi from Japan. I'm so proud of Japanese samurais. Shohei and Roki were amazing. Let's go Dodgers. So thank you. for tuning in from Japan. Hello, it's great to have you there. Thanks for being a Dodger fan. Thanks for tuning into Dodger Blue post game here. Just a terrific ball game. Yeah, the both of them. Ohtani, not so much at the plate, but on the mound, he was everything, as expected. Go out there, stymie, top offense there. I would say an offense that across Major League Baseball has been one of the most feared in the second half, and that's why they surged to this second spot in the National League. So Ohtani did an incredible job. Let's see here. Hawaiian Kira, you don't think they can sweep? Blake, any different thoughts?
That was in reference to me saying, I don't think the Dodgers are going to sweep, so you're still going to see Glasnow in Game 4, I believe, was the comment I made there. Mm-hmm. They can. I would just be very surprised if they do. The Phillies are still a very good team. I think they're going to come back on Monday and maybe pull that one out or pull one out at Dodger Stadium if they lose at home again. I don't know. They're both really good teams, so I would just be surprised if the Dodgers end up sweeping. And I said before the series, I'd be surprised if the Phillies or the Dodgers swept. So I'm just sticking with that.
Yeah, and last one here from Rosemary says, why was Shohei showing bunt?
That was when he was 0 for 4 with 4K. So maybe just trying to get in their head a little and figure something out, try and get on base anyway.
Just change the look. Oop, Blake's out of here. All right, it's just me. But yeah, I'm just trying to change the look. Ultimately what it is. So now you guys just get me. Just change the look. Blake just left on purpose. Look, I'm I
don't know what happened there. Whoops, hit the wrong thing.
What are you doing, Blake? There we go.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. That was weird, but here we are.
All right, just trying to change the look. That's what he was trying to do. As far as this next one, and I'm going to give myself some credit here on it, Blake. Says Scotty G, nice call on Alex Call roster spot decision. Blake doubted you.
I left because I just didn't want to talk about this. I said at the time, you were right about the logic and that he probably should be in. Uh-huh. So you were right there. And I said that at the time. I'm just saying I didn't think Roberts would actually do it from a vibe perspective, but they did it.
Blake.
Blake. I think this is a case of the front office having more say over the lineup than Dave in the postseason than what happens in the regular season.
Are you calling me a part of the front office, Mr. Williams?
No, I'm just saying, if we're talking about something being done logically in the lineup instead of just vibes based, I think it's more the nerds having a say than just Dave.
So are you thinking that I'm speaking logic, or I'm thinking logically?
Yeah, I said it at the time. I don't know what you're trying to get.
Everybody got it.
I said your logic makes sense.
Alex Call goes up there, has a stellar first AB, 6-pitch walk. Next AB comes up, puts a ball in play, reaches, does a job. How you doing? Yeah, somebody said Jeff hated the Alex Call thing. Look, I wasn't thinking that he was just going to be some massive impact thing. It was just that he's had, success against Christopher Sanchez. I liked his takes against, hard sinkers inside, change ups. He flinched a little bit on stuff away for no reason. But it was that Christopher Sanchez likes to bury sinkers in inner half to righties and down. And I just really liked his at-bat quality there. It was really more so about Max Muncy. But with Alex Call, I went back and at 4 a.m. when I woke up, because I told you guys I'm not feeling well this last week. So at 4 a.m. I woke up and watched Alex Call's ABs from the last time he faced him. And it just looked good. He looked like a spot that it was good for him to be in there. The last time he faced Christopher Sanchez in LA, he got a slider down in. Another pitch that I highlighted that Sanchez tries to get cute with against righties. And what do you know? And then admin, thank you for this. Rob Thompson did mention Call's ABs. Yeah, he had some swagger to it. He did. He had some swagger to it. He's up there. He was taking great stuff in. I don't know how much run he'll get against Luzardo and against Ranger Suarez, but same pitch profile from Suarez. Sinker, change. You're going to see some same type of stuff there, darting into right-handed hitters and change up, breaking away. So I really enjoyed it. I liked what was going on there with Alex Call. He was a good inclusion in the lineup. It gave Dave Roberts a manufactured spot to slot Max Muncy in once the bullpen comes in. So we could see it again. So to Blake Williams said, breaking news here, Blake Williams said, I am thinking logically enough, just like the Dodgers front office. So, buddy, that is the nicest thing that you have ever said to me. So I appreciate that. I also the fact that you said I run a tight ship on girls softball all-star teams. So thank you. The second nicest thing.
That one.
So thank you, buddy. We're going to keep going here. Someone says, don't go away, Blake. We're at the Plaza Inn eating fried chicken and double mash thinking of you. Thoughts on that?
Double mash is the way to go. One of my favorite stories. I think a lot of the chat knows Chris. He's been in here before, friend of the show. Went to college with him. He's now taking photos in Texas. So we went
W.
there.
Chris.
We went there, and the server was like, "You look like a guy who likes double mash," and just gave it to him without asking, because they normally have, I think, string beans or green beans or something there. So like, yeah, it was funny and one of my favorite memories there.
Yeah, GI says probably helps that Alex Call has 2 career homers against Sanchez. Yeah, for sure. And it gives Dave a good spot, because when you're thinking about having 4 lefties in the lineup against Christopher Sanchez, who dominates lefties, get Max Muncy out of there, put a spot in late game where you can kind of have some gamesmanship and just, strategize against Rob Thompson there. So yeah, I like that move.
Quick. Double mash is a double order of mashed potatoes instead of the vegetables. So yeah.
Wow. Big brain on that one, huh? Yes. Alex Call bat flips walks, and I'm all about it. Let's see here. All right, guys. Yeah, I think it's time. I know I have one more super chat. We'll get to it, but all caps question. No game tomorrow. Game 2 coming up on Monday. Blake, lay out the pitching matchup for us, please.
Blake Snell versus Jesus Luzardo for game 2, and then Yamamoto game 3. So
what are we liking about Blake Snell and Jesus Luzardo on Monday at the bank with the Dodgers up 1-0?
Blake Snell is really, really, really good, and Jesus Luzardo is just really good. So the Dodgers have the matchup advantage here. I mean, I think Luzardo shut them down a bit in their last series at Dodger Stadium in the regular season, if I remember correctly. So they'll have to turn it around. But yeah, I mean, it's a matchup they can win. They have the advantage. So
yeah. And big shout out to me. Here we go. GI. Doing my own research. GI, you are my researcher, my statistician, so I appreciate this. He says, Alex Call has a career 417 batting average versus Suarez, so look for another start there. Yeah, W me. Wow. Blake said I should be in the front office, so you heard it here. Admin, no game tomorrow, but we are doing the usual live show for Sunday night, so don't forget to tune into that. We are bringing everyone live coverage, as much live commentary, breakdowns, everything, news, quotes, articles, everything. On the written side, Blake, Matt, they run a tight ship over there. We've got some terrific writers that do great stuff on there, so DodgerBlue.com for all of our articles, stuff online. Appreciate that print work. And keep tuning in to Dodger Blue on YouTube. Live shows every single morning with me. I'm on Dodger Blue Unplugged, 10 a.m., noon, kind of how we want to slide that there. We'll keep you posted the night before. But just terrific work all throughout the postseason here, leading up to it all season long, for as long as I can remember. Dodger Blue, man. We've been rocking here. Rosemary, did you guys see Phillies fans on Twitter saying Strom had his glove open and Pages saw that, and that's why Teo hit the homer? I mean, I haven't. I'll have to break that down. That stuff is always interesting. Pitch tipping and stuff like that. I don't know who it was from ESPN. I think it was Jesse Rogers who said the entire Reds pitching staff was tipping, and I think that's just laughable, and that's like a joke take. That's like the most clown thing you can say, and I think he was on there with Buster Olney, and like that was a real ridiculous thing. Dodgers just hit bad pitching. That's just how it goes. Hunter Green's elite, but the Dodgers just teed off on poor pitchers. So I'll take a look at that, Rosemary. I know Blake and I will probably talk about that a little bit later on. I hadn't seen it.
Yeah, I didn't get to see it. I mean, I think the reply to that should be cover your pitches better. Don't make the adjustment. Don't let them see it, because that's on the Phillies, not on the Dodgers. Stealing signs legally like that has always been a part of baseball, and it's very allowed. Every team's trying to do it, so be better if that's the issue.
Yeah, admin here. Appreciate this. If it was Jesse Rogers, I don't know if somebody confirmed. I'm pretty sure it was. He said Jesse Rogers was also the one Yankee fan who grabbed Mookie and said he was a beaut. Yeah, never forget that. What a joke. Aside from that, Jesse Rogers sucks. You suck, man. Let's see. Doc Geo, amazing game. Tough one to lose. You guys called Glasnow and Roki earlier in the podcast. Can Glasnow start game 4?
Yeah. I mean, that's the plan right now. It was basically like his bullpen day type thing. He hadn't pitched since the regular season when he just went 2 innings. So, yeah, he should be fully good to go.
Yeah, right on. Alrighty. Let's see. Star a couple of those for me. I'm going to put, Blake, do that for me. I'm going to put a couple up that I've already got here. Vinny, what's up, man? He says, we moved to the NLCS, and with Will's seemingly positive outlook, could rushing be an odd man out? Interesting conversation here. I think they feel comfortable right now with where they're at, Blake. It's possible, but I think they feel comfortable with this 3-man group.
Yeah, I think you just leave it, because, like, what's the change you could make there? You're going to add a reliever that you're probably not going to use or you could add on Michael Conforto, who you don't want to use, or yeah, that's kind of it. So I think they'll just stick with it for now. If you have the versatility, it allows you to use Dalton Rushing as a pinch hitter, which you could definitely do worse from a lefty bat off the bench if you need one. And yeah, I'd rather have Rushing than Conforto being my pinch hitter.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, we've been in lockstep on that take for a while. Here we go. Thomas, so what? Oh, man, I don't want to talk about this. I shouldn't have put it up, but I will. So what can I interest you in Kyle Tucker thoughts? Trade either Teo or Pajes or both with Jose DePaula and Hope coming up. I don't know if we're ready to talk about this one yet. Thomas, appreciate the question. I don't really want to get into it, so I'm gonna save that one for another thing.
I'll just say I don't think Kyle Tucker's coming to LA.
Yeah, I don't think he's coming to LA. He's had a little rough back end of the season with the Chicago Cubs, and Blake and I are both like, let's not add another massive contract to the outfield when you've got young guys who need a landing spot. They need a runway there. Question: anyway, Hurt or Gratterall pitch if the Dodgers advance? Gratterall is done for the year. Kyle Hurt has been pitching to the team and is on the taxi squad. Any shot Blake or Kyle Hurt can have a chance to contribute here?
Probably, but for the next series, if they advance, they'd have Will Klein coming back available. They still have Ben Kasparius. I don't think they're totally out on Edgardo if they need a righty, so I think he's just a little down the depth chart there right now.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Dale wants to know, does Muncy start on Monday?
I'm going to say no, just because he has been banged up, and we already saw that they're willing to sit him against a lefty. So go with what's working, get Kike and Alex Call in there, or Miguel Rojas. And yeah.
I think it just provides Dave Roberts with a great it provides you with a plus bench bat, like as a left-handed hitter. Rob Thompson has righties he trusts. It just gives you a plus spot right in the heart of the lineup. Someone that if Alex Call or Kike or whoever, Rojas, however you want to mix it up, I think it will be Call just because like that's an easy swap for him to make. And Justin Dean can defensive sub later in the game. And you're not going to put Edman anywhere else. Like I think Call is an easy one for them to do it. I think that just makes a ton of sense there. Kike as well. You can sub him out, whatever you want to do. He's not coming out of the game, but I would make it Call. I would just say that it just provides Dave Roberts with, instead of having to go to Dalton Rushing, you can go to Max Muncy and just easily sub that out. So I would say that they go on that side, what Blake said here. Jason wants to know who's the first reliever out of the pen for LA Monday. I think it's all situational, but who's the first guy that you trust to come out of the bullpen?
That I trust? I mean, it's Roki. He's just the highest.
I'm saying following the starter. Starter.
What if Blake Snell goes 8 innings?
Okay. Cool.
I think Trinan will be first guy out if it's not like an 8-inning thing for Snell, just because if you're taking out the lefty, it's probably to go to a righty there. So yeah, that's my thought.
All right, let's get a few more going up here. Again, everybody, shout out to the 4,500 in here. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Dodgers win Game 1 of the DS. That's just a massive statistical advantage. I think it's a big mental advantage, especially when you go out there and you kind of stun the home team in their ballpark and they don't kind of have an answer back for the entirety of the game after having an inning with the middle of the bottom of the order. Nomo here, he says, if the Dodgers win Game 2, is it because of momentum or is it because the players are good? Yes, Nomo. Yes. Scooter Booter, how does the score for the Brewers and Cubs game make you feel about the Brewers as a team currently? I think it says that the Chicago Cubs starting Matt Boyd on 3 days rest wasn't the best idea. And Craig Counsell, just that game got away from him real quick.
Yeah.
No thoughts, just vibes, Blake?
I mean, yeah, I don't think the Brewers are as good as their record was, but the Cubs also aren't the best team, so it's kind of like a battle of mid over there, and then you have the two heavyweights battling it out in the Dodger-Phillies series, so whatever happens over there, I'm not putting too much stock in that.
Yeah, deal with it when you get there. I don't look at any of the teams. That's just kind of how it goes. You deal with it matchup dependent and just work your way through the bracket. So Scooter Bird, I got you. Just work your way through it here. Shape wants to know, why is Kike not an everyday player instead of Conforto for the whole season? Interesting question.
Kike is very bad in the regular season and somehow turns it around in the postseason. I know Conforto was very bad, but they wanted to give him every chance to figure it out, and he didn't, so they moved on when it actually started to matter.
Yeah, I thought it was very interesting and gave a big boost to the Kike believers and kind of what the front office believes and what he can do. About the last week of the season, they just shifted completely away from Michael Conforto, and Kike Hernandez started to get a ton of starts. So it's like they understood where they were at. Kike Hernandez, they knew would lock in. And it's like having just I know it's going to sound crazy when you look at the numbers, but it's like having another star player. It's having another star player just waiting in the wings, ready for those moments to be the biggest. And I think with Kike Hernandez, it's essentially having a superstar ready to go against anybody in the postseason. High velocity, you're going to make a mistake. You're going to find when Christopher Sanchez gets cute against a righty and throws a slider in a spot they can bang it, and he's going to put 2 runs on the board when he should have been out of the game. That's what Kike Hernandez can do. And that's the mentality he brings. That's one of my favorite things about him that he's spoken about in the last year. He's opened up about his mentality and his focus and how he, through positive thinking and putting himself in good headspace, that's how he's been able to succeed. And that's why I'm infatuated with who he is on the field and how he prepares for these postseason games. So Geektober is a legitimate thing. And I'm glad you're on board. I'll send you the forms. I'll send you the contracts tonight. They'll be on your desk Monday morning. So I'll make sure to FedEx them overnight.
Okay.
All right. Perfect. Devin says, Blake, you wanted Teo benched. I think he was saying in the moment. He was saying in the moment. Thoughts post game after the go-ahead homer.
We talked about Teo for
a lot.
30 minutes, about 30 minutes into the show or something. So, yeah, still not happy. Still, I don't think the homer changes my thoughts on that just because that was so unacceptable. But it's good that he came through.
Yeah. Someone wants to know, is that tiny foot behind Blake?
The Ewok?
The Ewok.
That's wicked.
Ewok. I'm all in. All right. Think we're good, Blake. You have anything else? Anybody else want to talk about something?
We can run through these real quick. Outfield should be Teo and left, Kike and center, and Pajas and right. Do the Dodgers, would they make the change? No, they didn't do it all year. I don't think Kike is very good in center field either. And if they weren't willing to do it earlier, they're not going to do it now. And Teo's thing is a lack of hustle and effort, not just being in right field. So I don't see that happening.
Yeah. People still fired up, Blake. We just got a big boost. We just crossed the 4,500 mark. We just got the big boost. So everybody, thank you so much. You're the best. If you're just tuning in, if you're just getting home, if you're just turning on the show, rewind this thing back. We had a terrific conversation here, talked absolutely everything. Broke down the incredible comeback win, Shohei Ohtani's dominant night. Just been a fun one overall here. And Dale, get this question in here. Which guy in the clubhouse would be most vocal on Teo's lack of hustle? I think, Blake, that there's been talk about this prior.
Miguel Rojas is probably the vocal clubhouse leader right now who would be holding guys accountable. Maybe Mookie a little bit in there too, but I think Miguel Rojas is kind of the leader in the clubhouse right now.
Yeah. Eric wants to know, how is Will Smith feeling health-wise?
He said earlier in the day that he was feeling really good and close to 100%. We're not sure if he's going to start. I think it's kind of a day-by-day thing, so the Dodgers don't even know yet. They're going to see how he is on Monday and go from there probably. So, yeah. But all we know is he's feeling really good, and he's close to 100% per him.
So, Blake, did you give me your player of the game?
No.
I saw a lot of people's player of the games. Everybody was from Teoscar Hernandez, Shohei Ohtani, Kike, Bullpen, Dave. I need to know, Blake Williams, who is your player of the game here?
It's a tough one. I feel like there's so many deserving players from it. I'll go with Kike just because when they're down 3-0, he got them back into the game, kind of gave them a bit of a spark there and woke them up a little maybe. So probably him. I think if Teo didn't make the error, he would be the number one choice. If Shohei didn't go 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts, he probably would have been the number one choice. So I'll give it to Kike.
Cool. Yeah, I'm going to say Shohei Ohtani. I'm going to say Shohei Ohtani for having his first postseason start on the road in Citizen Bank against the Philadelphia Phillies, and you hold the top part of that lineup, and you have incredible stuff there. You get so much whiff. Everything looks like it's in a good spot there, and you hold the top part of the order to 0 for 5 punch. Trey Turner, Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Harper, those are the ones that didn't do the big damage. You kept yourself in a spot to win a postseason ball game. You gave Dave Roberts length, 6 innings. I think that is perfect. I think that is a good spot for him. He didn't go crazy. He didn't have to do too much, but he did everything at the same time. I was hyper impressed with him. 23 swing and misses from Shohei Ohtani, has all pitches, getting chase, getting whiff. So that was a great postseason starting pitching debut for him. And he looked like he was up for the challenge. So against the Philadelphia Phillies, who he was incredible at Dodger Stadium the last time he faced them, goes out there, does it again. And just like this comment here, the first part of it, he says, yeah, Show looked calm and cool, even after the horrific play by Teo. He deserves the nod. That's just for me. I think that was just his ability to go right back out there, stay on plan, take a deep breath, and fire it away. So that was just all around good stuff there. Blake, you know what time it is. Final thoughts and take us home.
The final thought is, since we just talked about MVP for the game, I also don't think we can discredit Roki here. I think with any other reliever in the game after a double there, we're probably all thinking, here we go again. They're going to blow this. They're going to lose. But no, Roki came and shut them down. So Roki's my closer for the rest of the playoffs. Full confidence in him. He looked amazing. So that's my final thought.
A lot of growth out of you tonight. This was everybody 4,500 in here. This Blake Williams might be Blake's final form. This might be the best I've ever seen him. Believes in Kike Hernandez. He believes in a reliever, especially a rookie reliever, mind you, in the postseason, who's only had a handful of outings. And Rosemary says here, Roki wasn't even shook. Final one here. Ivan says, momentum in sports is real, and so is Keektober, Blake. So it is super chat from Ivan. What you've revealed tonight.
I'll still keep fighting the momentum one.
And that's okay.
Too many times it's not.
And I'll be right there to fight the good fight and make sure you're on the right side of history. Laura says, it's Blake's finest hour. W. Blake. This is a different Blake Williams, guys. See what winning does to Blake in the postseason here. He said at the beginning of the year, I remembered his New Year's resolution. He was going to enjoy Dodger baseball more. So this is good stuff here. Appreciate everybody. Ann says, we got Blake, you and I have bad chemistry, and I think you're listening to the wrong show if you can't pick up this stellar chemistry here. Couldn't be more off base. Apologize to you. Yeah. Blake and I locked in.
Scott, have a good time on these. So we enjoy hanging out and talking baseball with each other. So, yeah, I'm not sure where that one's coming from.
Out of left field. We're locked in. All right, everybody. Appreciate you. Again, do us a favor. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Subscribe if you haven't. If you're tuning in for the first time, you're the best. Thank you so much to the 4,600 in here that peaked on every single platform. Dodgers win Game 1, the National League Division Series against the Philadelphia Phillies on the road in Citizens Bank Park. They'll be playing again on Monday night to try to take a 2-0 lead, turn this thing right back to Los Angeles, and keep that momentum going in their favor. Tomorrow we'll be live on the nightly Sunday Cap show. We'll see you live on that, Jeff. We'll see who's there doing that with them. I'm not sure who's hosting it, but we'll keep you posted on social media and everything. Blake, appreciate you always tuning in, man. Managing editor, you're a beast. Thank you, Blake. Yeah. My name is Scott Geirman. Everybody for tuning in. We'll see you next time. And as always, till we can't say it anymore, go Dodgers.